So y'all remember how PE teachers used to make you run the mile in elementary school? Well boy do I have a fucking story for you. So I was out on the field running my second lap and my stomach started hurting because my fucking mom decided to buy McDonald's for breakfast. So I asked the teacher if I could go to the bathroom and that bitch ass Trump gorilla looking motherfucker said no, so I just kept running and prayed to Michael Jackson that it would go away. So I'm on my third lap and I have to fart. And on God I pulled an Essa Barrett. So much shit came out that I could literally make a 4-course meal with it. And a chocolate fountain for dessert. I was about to fucking cry. Obviously I wasn't gonna tell my teacher that I shit myself, so I just said I felt like I was gonna throw up. So I go to the clinic literally holding my hands on my ass so nobody would see my shit. When I get to the clinic the nurse tells me to sit down, but in my head I'm like, bitch, if I sit down your chair is gonna look like the chocolate river from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I just lean on the wall until my mom comes to pick me up. When I stand up off the wall to go to the bathroom my shit is smeared on the wall and the nurse looks at it and she's like, what the fuck, was that you? And I was like, ew, hell no, and I run to the bathroom and my whole ass had shit on it, and when my mom picked me up I started crying because she asked what smelled like dog shit and she thought she stepped in something and I had to tell her it was my ass. One day I was getting ready for school because it was picture day. I had just got new makeup from Easter. I put my foundation on and I thought I looked cute even though the foundation shade made me look sunburnt and the eyeshadow was dark orange. Not a good look. I also wore this ugly musty dress. It was green on the top and the sleeves had brown ruffles. I thought I looked so cool, so I went to school. I am still mad at my parents for sending me to school and that. Everyone stared at me while I walked into class, even my teacher. She was telling us to go down to get our pictures taken by our last names and I went in the beginning since my last name starts with C. I went down and then my stomach started to hurt. I ate McDonald's for breakfast because my parents were too lazy to make breakfast. I honestly started to pray to Whitney Houston that I wouldn't shart. I held my hands to my ass and walked to the photo booth. My stomach started to rumble, grumble, bumble, trumble, numbler, mumble, zumble, lumble. I tried act natural, so I removed my hands from my ass and got ready to take my picture. While I was standing there I did the most soggy doggy, sounded froggy, came out cloggy, looked loggy, made the room foggy, very soggy. I pulled an Essa Barrett. It made the school building shake so much to the point people thought there was a level 5 tornado. I shat so much that it covered the camera right when they took the photo. When they realized it was my ass and not a tornado, I was immediately rushed to the emergency room and they diagnosed me with the one and only bowel cancer.
It was Halloween one year and we were handing out candy to the little undeserving bastard shits that knocked on our door. This one fat ginger bitch knocked on the door and of course she chose the biggest candy bar in the bucket and she said she wants another one. I said, listen here you tubby orange bitch, you get one fucking candy bar, you don't look like you need another one. She grabbed another candy bar from the bucket and started laughing at me and I said to her, if you weren't in a costume I would think you were the grand pumpkin, you giant orange bitch. She took her shoe off and threw it at my face, and that's when I lunged at her and tackled her off the balcony. I started pulling at her orange haystack hair and she started screaming for her dad. Her dad dragged me off the little ginger bitch and he yelled at me saying, who the hell beats up a 7-year-old? I said, me you old twat, and I took her entire bucket of candy and walked inside. The cops came over and I started fake crying saying she attacked me first and I was defending myself, and my dog was agreeing and defending me. The police went to the tubby ginger thought's house and shot it up. That's what you get for messing with me, you expanded Ed Sheeran looking bitch.
I have a story. One day in 5th grade we were on a field trip. On the bus I was sitting next to this weird girl named Patty McBerry. For some fucking reason Patty was so excited about the trip. We were going to a fucking museum. What the actual fuck, who likes museums? They are so fucking boring. Anyways, halfway through the trip Patty McBerry started coughing viciously. She had a seizure due to overexcitement. She was shaking from happiness for the rest of the ride. When we got there Patty McBerry ran out of that bus faster than coronavirus spreads. She fainted because she was so excited. The tour guide had to hold on to Patty while he showed us around because she was too hyper. Out of nowhere, Patty McBerry broke free and ran right to the live animal section. She went to the gorilla's enclosure and smushed her face against the cage wall. Then out of nowhere she starts climbing up the fucking wall. Patty McBerry jumped into the enclosure and tackled the gorilla out of excitement. The gorilla ate Patty and she died. Day I went skiing with my friend Lucy McCucci. When me and Lucy McCucci arrived at the skiing resort we got checked in and everything and were ready to go. I have been skiing before but Lucy McCucci has not. We were both nervous as fuck but we counted to 3 and then went. I was going good but all of a sudden I saw Lucy McCucci fly across the sky. I thought she was an airplane. That hoe started flying across the sky like she was a crow or some shit. The birds started to fly with her because they thought she was a bird also. She landed and she started rolling down the hill like 324 miles per hour like calm down burrito taquito mosquito wannabe. Lucy McCucci started to go zoom zoom vroom vroom boom boom bam pow whack whack vroom zoom pow whip paratatatata help me. She then slid into a tree just how she slid into 34 men's DMs. Sorry, off topic. She started to cry and yell, ouch my zakuchi woochie poochie mcoochie moochie noochie juchi suchi buchi luchi zambuchi hurts. She broke her coochie. It didn't smell fruity, it was very juicy, it smelled like sushi, it was very bloody. Her mcoochie zambuchi burned and we were very concerned. We rushed her to the hospital and the doctors told us that she has itchy burny coochie cancer.
So one day, me and my bestie go to this water park, and I was bursting for a piss. So we finish at the water park and we grab an ice cream. This ice cream was so nice and creamy. It was a cream machine, not filled with a spleen, not mean, aquamarine. Anyways, I went to the toilet and put 50p in the slot. Let me just remind you, it said the toilet was vacant. So I pulled the door open and I looked inside. Someone was in there pissing. I was like, what the fuck? I saw a man and I also saw his Willy Wonka chocolate punker feeling bonkers. You're a plunker. He quickly shouted, someone's in here. I was like, how the fuck am I meant to know? It said it's empty. I shut the door ASAP. I was traumatized for life. On the way back to the car, I saw a pad. The end.
Like, one time I was like, severely horny. I can get so horny that I become violent. One time I was at school minding my business, doing some work and whatnot, when the horniness kicked in. My teacher saw me in distress, so she walked over to help me, and that's when I tackled her to the floor and started humping her. She started screaming, and a teacher walking by ran in and separated us. I said I didn't do anything wrong, please let me go, it's medical. The teacher insisted I go to the principal's office, so I did. The principal told me even though I can't help it, I have to control it and not do it anymore. I said okay and I started walking back to class, when I saw my teacher walking to refill her water. I walked up to her about to apologize, when the same rush of horn bursted through my veins. I violently tackled her again and the same teacher separated us again. I got expelled and my teacher is now a raging alcoholic in rehab because of me. It turns out the violent horniness is the main symptom to bowel cancer.
This is a bit of a long one, so get your popcorn ready and get comfy. Anyways, one time in year 4 or 5 I used to play Roblox with my backup best friend. We're not friends anymore, so she'd blow up if she saw this, especially if it had her name in it, so let's call her Lily. Anyways, me and Lily were on Roblox and we were playing our favorite game, Roblox in Life. Because I was a little sad kid, I spent all my pocket money on Robux so I could make my avatar bomb AF to catfish people into thinking I'm pretty. It worked very well, and every time I joined a game I'd get at least 10 Roblox boyfriends in like 3 minutes. When I flexed all my Roblox boyfriends to Lily on FaceTime, she always started to cry because she couldn't get any. I kept telling her to shut up, but she said she wouldn't stop crying until I gave her one of my boyfriends. I found one of the weird Roblox boys in the game that I rejected and asked her to be Lily's boyfriend, and he said yes. She was very happy and I made them meet in the game. Their Roblox relationship got a little bit.
One day I was at my grandma's house. I was eating my lunch like a normal child, and my grandma was eating soup. The soup had just come out the oven, so it was really hot. My grandma put a spoon of it in her mouth. This bitch started hyperventilating. She was having a seizure. She started rolling around on the floor. My grandma was sad. She has no dad. I wasn't glad. She started shouting all over her kitchen. It was smelly, fat belly, soup and jelly. I called the ambulance. They said they had to perform major surgery on her. I said okay. A few weeks later I went back to the hospital. I saw my granny. I also saw her fanny, fish flappy, smelly nappy. I don't know why she was naked. I asked the doctor. Apparently she died from bowel cancer. One day I went to the hospital. I was visiting my great uncle because he had bowel cancer, diabetes, nipple piercing rash, the black plague, heart disease, pneumonia, arthritis, coronavirus, tuberculosis, asthma, werewolf syndrome, saggy willy disease and small dick syndrome. He was 69 years of age and he was very ill, as you can tell. He was slowly dying, so before he died, my mom wanted to do one last thing altogether. We went to a water park. Like what the actual fuck? He is literally almost dead. Anyways, we were going down the spank me daddy slide when all of a sudden, my great uncle let out the most sloppy, gloppy, willy is floppy, snobby bobby, ploppy, sag sag, nag nag, shit. It smeared all over the water slide walls, and it got mixed into the pool at the bottom of the slide. The shit flew onto our heads and our hair. It took me 3,384 showers to get it out. It was that powerful. Anyways, my great uncle started crying and then he suddenly drowned. I tried to do CPR, but he started having a heart attack. He later died that day. Did I tell you he had WAP syndrome? It stands for wonky ass penis. Peace out.
One day my teacher announced to the class that we were gonna do a Kahoot. I threw my bag of Cheeto Puffs in the air and screamed because I was so excited. I knew I was going to win the Kahoot. Everyone else looked at me like I was on drugs because of how hyper I was. They all knew that I was gonna win since I have never lost a game of Kahoot before. The game started and I was obviously the first to join. My username was Kahootmaster235, of course. Most people joined and so the teacher started the game. Some people didn't join because they knew I was gonna win. There were 15 questions. I was in the lead, but when I saw the leaderboard, this kid with the username You're Gonna Lose Sophia89 was really close behind me. Everyone was cheering them on because they wanted to see me fail. I was like, oh hell no, rat-a-tata, that ain't gonna happen. I couldn't couldn't lose my streak of winning. I got the 10th question wrong, but you're gonna lose. Sophia 89 got it right, so they went up to first place and I went to second. I did well the rest of the game, and when it announced the winners, I was in fucking second place and they crippled stretched Ed Sheeran cereal box stanky ho brick eating cockastain mama hippo Jojo Siwa on steroids bitch won. Everyone was applauding them and I realized it was Becky Nucky. I decided since everyone was laughing, I let out the most wubble double bubble hubble nubble mubble pubble lubble cubble zubble shit. It managed to make the school catch on fire. Everyone evacuated and everyone was covered in smoke. Everyone apologized to me for laughing at me. It turned out I had bowel cancer and I had to go to the doctor since my asshole had third-degree burns.
One day, I was at school. We were in science class and we were making explosions and shit. I was a bit of a rebel in school, so I decided to mix every ingredient I could find into one bowl. I then proceeded to heat it over a Bunsen burner. I now realize that was a bad mistake. It exploded all over the students. It made the school shake, caused an earthquake. Even my teacher, Mr. Bumcrack Shakalak, was covered head to toe in this creamy mess I had created. My head teacher, Mrs. Basihila Moldymole, expelled me from school for 1 week. But I said, "No, fuck you, bitch," and I walked like a badass out of my school, with a baddie playlist on. I came back to school the next day and everyone was so impressed by me. Every time I have science I am not allowed to participate. The explosion I made that day was as loud as a hippo giving birth. I am now the most popular person in the school and everyone wants to be my friend. Mr. Bumcrack Shakalak wants to be my boyfriend, and Mrs. Basihila Moldymole said she would be lesbian for me. So suck on that, bitches.